There's a reason why some women become a man's midnight thought, his emotional echo, his unfinished sentence, while others barely cross his mind after a few days. It's not about beauty, charm, or being nice. It's about a psychological imprint, a signature energy that lingers long after you've left the room. And here's the truth. A man can't forget what made him feel deeply. He forgets convenience. He forgets perfection. But he never forgets mystery, depth, and disruption. The kind that stirs something inside him. Something he can't name, control, or replace. These women don't chase. They don't over-explain. They don't try to be liked. They create an emotional tension that lingers. She's not loud, but her silence speaks volumes. She's not dramatic, but her presence is unforgettable. She can walk away and still haunt him. That's real power. In this video, I'm going to show you the 4 specific traits that make a woman unforgettable. The ones that trigger a man's attachment instincts without saying a word. No clichés, no recycled play hard to get tactics. Just pure feminine mastery rooted in psychology, energy, and elegance. Because when you stop trying to be remembered and start owning what makes you irreplaceable, you become the story he keeps replaying. So if you're tired of temporary attention and you're ready to become the woman he never gets over, watch this all the way through. This isn't a game, it's strategy. And once you learn it, he won't stand a chance. Men are naturally drawn to what they can't fully understand. It's wired into them, the instinct to pursue, to unravel, to conquer. But when a woman embodies a subtle feminine mystery, she becomes more than just attractive, she becomes magnetic. The kind of woman who doesn't reveal everything all at once. The kind of woman who speaks volumes, yearns over sharing. And it's that very mystique that keeps a man up at night wondering about her, craving her presence and chasing after the next layer of who she is. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about restraint. It's about knowing your values so deeply that you don't feel the need to constantly explain, validate, or broadcast every thought you have. When you walk into a room and carry yourself with quiet confidence, when you allow silence to be powerful instead of awkward, that's when he starts to lean in. He pays closer attention. He wonders, what's going on behind those eyes? And what is she thinking that she's not saying? Men remember women who don't hand them the full picture. A mysterious woman offers him a beautiful puzzle he never gets tired of trying to solve. She's present, but not predictable. Warm, but not always available. She listens more than she speaks. And when she does speak, it's thoughtful. There's a stillness in her that feels sacred. She doesn't reveal her entire life story on the first few dates, because she understands that depth isn't rushed. She reveals herself slowly, like turning pages in a book you never want to end. This is the difference between attention and obsession. A woman who overshares, over-explains, or oversells herself may get noticed, but she becomes easy to categorize. He feels like he already knows her, and the chase ends before it ever began. But a mysterious woman, she lingers. She leaves him with question. She leaves emotional breadcrumbs, not a roadmap. He starts thinking about her when he's driving, when he's at work, when he's alone at night. Because she's different. She's not a copy-paste version of everyone else. She has layers, and men lose sleep over women with layers. Mystery doesn't mean being cold, confusing, or emotionally unavailable. In fact, it's the opposite. It means being deeply connected to yourself. It's the confidence to know that your story, your energy, and your life don't need to be constantly explained to earn attention. It means you let people discover you, rather than feeling like you have to sell yourself. This kind of energy is unforgettable to a man. Why? Because it triggers his desire to discover. He becomes addicted to the potential of learning more about you, and that potential is intoxicating. A woman who remains unpredictable, not in an unstable way, but in a grounded, graceful, mysterious way, creates a space for long-term fascination. He never quite feels like he's figured her out, and that's exactly why she stays on his mind. In a world full of oversharing, loud personalities, and desperate attempts to be seen, mystery is rare, and anything rare is remembered. She becomes the woman who made him feel something different, something slower, deeper, more meaningful. He doesn't forget her, because he never fully got to the bottom of her, and that is the beauty of feminine mystery. It doesn't scream for attention, it pulls it in effortlessly, and leaves a lasting mark long after the moment has passed. There's a certain kind of woman who doesn't just capture a man's attention, she captures his soul. He may not even understand why he feels so drawn to her, but there's something in the way she connects, something deeper than attraction or chemistry. It's emotional depth. And when a woman embodies this, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she tries to be, but because her presence awakens something within him that most people never touch. Emotional depth is rare. It's not just about being vulnerable or having strong feelings. It's about being fully present with someone, fully aware of yourself, and emotionally in tune without becoming dependent. A woman with emotional depth isn't chaotic. She's composed, she's layered, reflective, and calm in ways that make a man feel safe, yet intrigued. She doesn't need to dominate the conversation or overshare her life story. Instead, she communicates with intentionality. Every word has weight. Every silence is filled with meaning. And when she listens, it's not passive, it's felt. This is the woman who asks questions that reach into a man's core. Not just what do you do, but what drives you, or what scares you when no one's around. She's not afraid of his darkness, nor does she rush to fix or judge it. Instead, she makes space for him to reveal himself. And that space, non-judgmental, emotionally intelligent, quietly powerful, is what grips him. Most women want to impress a man. A woman with emotional depth makes him feel understood. And that kind of feeling, it stays. Men may not always articulate it, but they crave this depth. They may act tough, play it cool, or keep things surface level. But when they meet a woman who reflects back emotional richness, it shakes something most. It forces them to feel more, think more, reflect more. He'll find himself opening up without even meaning to. He'll share memories he hasn't told anyone in years. And later, he'll wonder, why did I tell her that? The answer is simple. Emotional safety. She gave him that, and he'll want more of it. This woman isn't dramatic. She's not emotionally reactive. She doesn't overshare or demand emotional validation from others. Instead, she's emotionally centered. Her moods don't fluctuate based on who texts her back or who compliments her. She doesn't chase highs or spiral from lows. Her emotional world is rich, but it's stable. And this stability mixed with depth is incredibly attractive, because it's not something a man sees every day. It's not loud, it's not performative, it's powerful in its stillness. When a man meets a woman like this, he may not know how to define it, but he feels it. He feels challenged in a good way. He feels like he's sitting across from someone who could hold his truth without flinching. And that level of emotional presence is unforgettable, because even if things don't turn romantic, he will remember how it felt to be around her. He'll remember the conversations, the way her energy lingered, the calm she carried. She didn't just touch his heart, she reached his soul. And here's the truth. While beauty may turn his head, emotional depth keeps him up at night. It makes him rethink past relationships. It sets a new standard for connection. Once he's experienced that level of intimacy, surface level interactions just don't hit the same. He starts craving more of her, more of that feeling, and the woman who gave it to him, she becomes impossible to forget, not because she tried to be, but because she was willing to go there when no one else would. That's the secret. Real emotional depth doesn't beg for love, it inspires it. It doesn't chase attention, it earns respect. And in the end, it's not the loudest woman in the room he remembers, it's the one who made him feel something real. There's something undeniably magnetic about a woman with untouchable standards. She doesn't announce them, she doesn't lecture about them, and she doesn't use them as a threat. She simply lives by them. And that quiet, unwavering self-respect is what hooks a man in a way that beauty or charm alone never could. It signals to him that she is not available to just anyone, not because she's cold or arrogant, but because she knows exactly what she deserves. And she won't settle for less. Untouchable standards aren't about having a long list of demands. They're about having clarity. A woman with high standards is clear about how she wants to be treated, how she values her time, and what kind of behavior she will or won't accept. She doesn't bend her boundaries just to keep a man interested. In fact, she's still to lose anyone who doesn't meet them. And that's exactly what makes her irresistible. You see, when a woman has standards that are non-negotiable, it does something to a man's psyche. It challenges him. It pulls him out of autopilot. He realizes that he can't just coast or charm his way in. He has to rise. He has to bring his best self forward, because she won't stick around for half effort, inconsistency, or confusion. She doesn't entertain men who aren't sure about her. And that confidence, the kind that doesn't flinch when someone walks away, is what locks her into his mind. She becomes a mirror. Through her behavior, he sees where he's lacking, where he needs to grow, and what he truly wants in a woman. If he's serious, he'll level up. If he's not, he'll leave, and she won't chase him. She doesn't cling to potential. She doesn't date promises. She pays attention to patterns, not apologies. And in doing so, she earns a level of respect most women never receive. Men may not admit it, but they're drawn to women who hold them to a higher standard. It creates value. It creates meaning. When a man feels like he has to work to earn a place in your life, that investment builds attachment. And the more he invests, the more he values what he's building. That's human nature. A woman who makes it too easy may get temporary attention, but it's the one with standards who earns lasting devotion. What makes her unforgettable isn't that she's hard to get. It's that she's hard to keep. Not because she plays games, but because she won't tolerate mediocrity. She knows her energy is rare. She knows her time is valuable. And she knows love, without self-respect, isn't real love at all. She doesn't explain her worth. She embodies. When a man shows up inconsistently, she doesn't beg for clarity. She steps back. When a man disrespects her boundaries, she doesn't try to convince him to treat her better. She walks. And when a man sees that she holds herself to a higher level, he either rises with her or gets left behind. That's why she stays on his mind. Because deep down, every man wants a woman who demands the best from him. Not through force, but through example. Her energy makes him want to be better. Her presence makes him respect her. And the thought of losing her becomes more painful than the effort it takes to keep her. She's not untouchable because she's mean or distant. She's untouchable because she knows what she brings. And she refuses to be touched by anything less than what aligns with that. That's power. That's poise. And that's exactly why he'll never forget her. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't need to be loud, boastful, or put on display, and yet it shifts the energy in every room. It's the kind of confidence that a man feels before a woman even says a word. It's effortless, it's quiet, and it's unforgettable. Because when a woman walks through life with a deep-rooted belief in who she is, what she deserves, and where she's going, it leaves an impression that haunts a man in the best way. Effortless confidence is not a woman pretending to have it all figured out. Instead, it's the calm certainty in her eyes. It's the way she doesn't need to seek approval because she's already validated herself. It's how she's okay being alone because she enjoys her own company. And it's how she never begs for a man's attention because she knows her presence is the prize. She's the woman who doesn't compare herself to others. She doesn't compete, and she never chases. Her self-worth isn't tied to who texts her back or who doesn't. She can walk away from someone she likes, not because she doesn't care, but because she refuses to abandon herself for anyone. That kind of inner strength is rare, and for a man it's disarming, because it can't be manipulated, persuaded, or played with. What haunts him is not just that she's beautiful or intelligent, it's that she carries herself like she knows she's enough, even if no one else says it. Her posture, her energy, her smile, it all reflects a woman who's not searching to be saved, completed, or chosen. She's already chosen herself. That makes her unpredictable, untouchable, and utterly intriguing. A confident woman doesn't need to overshare to prove she's deep. She doesn't need to overcompensate to be liked. She simply exists in her power, and that energy lingers. She's not trying to be different from other girls. She honors her boundaries. She walks with intention, and she doesn't fear rejection, because she knows rejection doesn't define her. It redirects her. That mindset changes the game. It changes the way she speaks, the way she dates, the way she allows herself to be loved. And here's what makes it even more haunting for him. She's not trying to impress him. She's not trying to be unforgettable. She just is, because she doesn't place her worth in his hands. And yet that very independence is what makes him crave her presence more. She's the kind of woman who stays in his mind, not because she tried to, but because she was so deeply herself, it left a mark. Men are used to women trying to prove themselves, trying to please, trying to win them over. So when a woman arrives with quiet certainty, no need for validation, and no fear of loss, it rattles something in him. He starts to think about her when he's alone, when the room gets quiet, when no one else is around, because she didn't just enter his life, she entered his psyche. This kind of confidence is built, not bought. It comes from doing the work, showing up for yourself, healing your wounds, and refusing to shrink to be loved. And when a man sees it, feels it, he knows he's dealing with someone rare, someone who won't fall for the usual, someone who doesn't chase love, because she is love. And long after the messages fade, long after the conversations end, she remains in his memory. Why? Because real confidence isn't loud, it's lasting. It doesn't demand space, it owns it. And that energy, that's what keeps her unforgettable. That's what haunts him, in silence, in stillness, in moments he least expects. In the end, it's not the most beautiful woman who stays in his heart. It's not the one who tried the hardest, gave the most, or sacrificed everything to keep his love. The woman he can't replace is the one who knew her worth before he did. The one who didn't try to fit into his world because she was too busy building her own. She's the one who left a mark without forcing herself to be remembered. And that's the woman you always meant to be. Men don't lose sleep over women who gave everything away for free. They lose sleep over the woman who loved herself first. The one who carried grace in the face of silence. The one who didn't overreact, didn't chase, and didn't beg to be seen. Because real power isn't loud. It doesn't need to scream, "Look at me." It simply exists, boldly, softly, and unapologetically. If you've ever questioned your value because someone didn't choose you, let this be your reminder. Your worth was never dependent on how much he noticed you. The right man will feel your energy before you even speak. He will feel your absence, like a void when you walk away. Not because you were dramatic, not because you played games, but because your presence brought something to his life that can't be copied or replaced. Be the woman who isn't afraid to walk away from anything that costs her peace. Be the woman who trusts that her silence holds more weight than 1,000 second chances. You don't need to force closure. You don't need to prove your value. When you know who you are, you stop over-explaining. You stop pleading. You stop shrinking for people who aren't ready to ride. When you carry that kind of energy, when your boundaries are firm, your emotions are grounded, and your love is given with intention, you don't chase. You attract. You don't compete. You elevate. And even if he walks away, even if he chooses someone easier, more convenient, or more accessible, he will remember you. Because women like you don't come around twice. You're the chapter he rereads in silence. The energy he searches for in someone else, and never finds. The voice in the back of his mind that whispers, "She was different." And that difference, that irreplaceable essence, isn't something you perform. It's something you are. It's in the way you love without losing yourself. It's in the way you speak with softness, but move with certainty. It's in the way you're willing to be alone rather than be mishandled. So if you're wondering what makes a woman unforgettable, it's not the games she plays. It's the standards she lives by. It's the grace she holds under pressure. It's the way she loves deeply, yet never lets that love blind her to her own value. That's what keeps a man up at night. That's what follows him in silence. That's what he compares every woman to, even if he'll never admit it. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be the exception, the standard. The story he tells himself when he realizes he let something rare slip away. And if you truly embrace the traits we've uncovered, your mystery, your emotional depth, your untouchable standards, and your effortless confidence, you won't just be remembered. You'll be the one he can't replace. The one who taught him what real feminine power looks like. The one who raised the bar so high, he'll never look at love the same way again.